In this short video, we're going to look at this small part of the gender topic for AQA Christianity for A Level RS. So debates about female ordination in the Church of England up to and after 1994, and a continuing debate today is the spec point that we're looking at. So women have now been able to become priests in the Church of England for more than 30 years. The ordination of the first women priests in 1994 marked the culmination of decades of debate, although arguments around the representation of women in senior positions in the Church have continued ever since. The ordination of women in the Church of England was first discussed at the Lambeth Conference in 1920. An Archbishop's Commission was set up to consider the issue, but ultimately advised against allowing women to be ordained. The ordination of women was then further discussed by General Synod, the governing body of the Church of England, in 1975 and again in 1978, when it was proposed that changes in church law could be made to allow women to become ordained. Now, in the Church of England, votes on important matters like this are taken in the three houses of the General Synod: the House of Bishops, the House of Clergy, and the House of Laity. On this occasion, the decision to allow women to be ordained was voted against by the House of the Clergy, so by the existing male priests. Now, the arguments made to justify opposition to the ordination of women at this point were, firstly, that the Church of England did not have authority to overturn the tradition of having only male priests. Secondly, that ordaining women would damage the close relationship between the Church of England and the Catholic Church. And thirdly, conservative readings of texts such as 1 Timothy 2:8-15, which state, "I do not permit a woman to teach or have authority over a man," were used to justify women not being able to be ordained. Now, the Christian movement for the ordination of women was founded in 1979 and became the main group that campaigned for women to become priests. After 19 years of debate, the General Synod took the decision in 1992 to allow women to be ordained into the priesthood. To be passed, it's interesting to note that the decision had to be approved by a 2/3 majority in each of the Synod's three houses of bishops, clergy and laity, and in the end it passed by a margin of only 2 votes among lay people, which really shows how contentious this issue was at the time. 32 women were then priested at a service in Bristol Cathedral on the 12th of March 1994. Now, reactions to the ordination of women were widespread. So in 1993, the Act of Synod was passed, allowing for the creation of flying bishops to minister to churches that did not accept the ordination of women. These are actually still in place today for parishes in the Church of England that still cannot accept the ministry of women. A movement called Forward in Faith was set up in 1992 after the vote to allow women's ordination was passed. It has branches in many parts of the UK and says it is committed to the Catholic faith and order within the Church of England, and so it is opposed to women priests and bishops. Reform is a conservative group in the Church of England that was set up in 1993 against the ordination of women, and now also campaigns against issues such as homosexuality and increasing liberal attitudes. There was also a group for the rescinding the Act of Synod, which called for the law which paid compensation to those who resigned and set up structures for opponents of women's ordination to be withdrawn, calling it institutionally sexist. So after the ordination of women, it actually took a long time, 20 years, for the first female bishop to be permitted to be, promoted. So on the 17th of November 2014, Synod voted in favour of removing the legal obstacles preventing women from becoming bishops, ending a process within the church that had actually begun 9 years previously. So Libby Lane became the first woman to serve as a bishop of the Church of England when she was consecrated in 2015 as a suffragan bishop of Stockport, which is an assistant bishop in the Diocese of Chester, and she is now the diocesan bishop of Derby. So currently, I believe there are 25 female bishops, including the bishops of London, Derby and Bristol.